Hey there, this is Della Rucker, principal of the Wise Economy Workshop and author of The Local Economy Revolution Has Arrived, What's Changed and How You Can Help. Thank you for joining me today. It has been pretty much a monsoon here in Southern Ohio, and I'm looking out the window going, yeah, I think we got more rain coming. So the light may go up and down and all sorts of sideways while we're talking today. And we can blame it on Mother Nature. So again, thank you for joining me. I'm really excited for tonight. As some of you may know, tonight is the launch of the Accelerate Us Salon. And a salon in old terms, previous to, being a place you got your hair done, a salon was a place where you had really interesting conversations with people about current events and how the world was evolving and and what needed to be going on in the world around us, and really a process of learning from each other. And when I started thinking about what I wanted the next iteration of the Accelerate Us Dispatches from the Front Lines of the Local Economy Revolution series, which you can find on YouTube, or you can find wherever you get your podcasts. The audio version is available on SoundCloud under, just look for Wise Economy, but you can also find it at Building a Wise Local Economy on Stitcher, Spotify, iTunes, wherever you get your podcast. So take a look for that. Those were fascinating interviews. I can spit that word out. I'm still doing them. I still have a few that I'll be posting in the next week or two. But part of what I was discovering was not only am I really enjoying the listening and the conversations with these individuals, but I kept thinking, oh man, if I could just have you and you talk together about this experience, oh my gosh, that would be so interesting. I'd love to be a fly on the wall to hear that conversation. So that's what the Salon series, as part of Accelerate Us Dispatches from the Front Lines of the Local Economy Revolution, that's what these salons are about. So tonight we've got 4 of really the most interesting people I could think of when it comes to looking at how are we collaborating with others in new ways. So we've talked before here about how we're learning to do things differently by virtue of the fact that the world is changing around us. And one of the ways in which it's changing is that we're finding new ways to work together. And working together doesn't necessarily look the same as it did in the past. We're seeing much more of these kind of loose networks that are fascinating because they can do things that are very different, but they also require working in a very different way. So we're going to have a real conversation tonight about how to make impact. And I'm going to come over here and hit a button. So I just posted the link, and I have a special deal for those of you who are watching this. If you're watching it before Wednesday at 7 o'clock, I have a few free tickets left, and I'm going to give them to you. All you got to do is sign up at that link that I just posted and put in the promo code at checkout. Put in the promo code WISEFOOL. WISEFOOL, all run together, capitals, and you'll get yourself a free ticket. And that not only gets you the opportunity to listen in and participate in the conversation, but it also gets you into the virtual happy hour with these 4 incredible speakers tonight. And I think that in itself is a heck of an opportunity. So I hope you'll be able to join us. So it's tonight, Wednesday, May 5th, 7 p.m. Link is below. Don't miss it. I just saw a note that if you're on Periscope, it didn't go through. I don't know why. I don't control it. What I would recommend if you're watching this on Periscope is go to Eventbrite and search for Della Rucker or Wise Economy, and I think you'll come up with it. If not, just send me a DM and we'll get you hooked up. Okay? So again, super looking forward to this tonight. And in the meantime, we're going to continue with our readings from this book. The Local Economy Revolution has arrived. What's changed and how you can help. Available for order anywhere you get your books, whether it's your local bookstore or bookshop.org or Amazon. And particularly, you can get print copies direct from the printer at lulu.com. You can get print or digital at gumroad.com, which I think is a fabulous platform for independent creators like myself. So, Local Economy Revolution has arrived, what's changed, and how you can help. And the section we're going to read today, and my apologies for people who are maybe trying to avoid bad words. This one's got a couple of them in it, and it's because when I wrote it, I was pretty ticked off. I was pretty frustrated over some things that I was hearing, and you'll see why. Consultant as wizard. Bullshit. It's very hard to type and pace around fuming at the same time. Last year, I left a session at a national conference because I was too mad to be civil anymore. I wrote at the time, I am beyond tired of consultants feeding communities bullshit in the guise of wisdom. No wonder they don't trust us. The session I had left was on using economic impact studies to determine whether financial incentives are appropriate in economic development. I had just taught a class on unraveling economic impact studies with Pete Mallow, so that part was somewhat of interest, and I was teaching a training on the use of incentives next month, so that was part of the reason why I went. I had to leave halfway before my budding anger and bad behavior got me in trouble. The speaker, who I don't know, presented that slick, all-knowing persona de rigueur along with a head of gray hair. His message: look how nice and straightforward and objective all your incentive negotiations will be if you base them on the crystal clarity that an economic impact study, especially if it's done by us or using our software, gives you. You want to know what an economic impact study includes? Well, first you take your direct costs, you plug them into the magic calculator. Hocus pocus. And voila! Here's your number. Now you know what your incentives should be. Doesn't that make you feel good? Want to project it out 10 years into the future? No problem. How easy we've made it for you. How did we get that number, you ask? Oh, here's the name of our magic multiplier source. That's all you need to know, you know. Don't worry about it. Trust us. We're the experts. Bullshit. This is not the answer to the incentives conundrum or the larger question of figuring out what we should do. All this does is make it worse. There is no way that an economic analysis is worth the memory it takes up in your inbox unless you understand exactly how that magic number was calculated and why those multipliers were used. If the multipliers are straight out of some standard source and your community is not identical in time and space and all dimensions to the geography that was used in that source, then the analysis is not going to fit. Worse, there is no way in hell that a 10-year projection that lands on one number can be right. It's statistically impossible. Any honest person who passed college stats can tell you that. It's common sense when you think about it. And yet, people keep buying it. A room full of people sat and listened and took notes and bought it. Bullshit. Is it any wonder that consultants who work with local governments have such a bad reputation? In a complex, unpredictable, varied world, how can we offer easy prepackaged solutions and sleep at night? How can we stay behind the curtain of the wizard's facade in Oz without constant fear of being uncovered? How much of the physical, fiscal, economic mess that our communities face can be laid at the feet of know-it-all consultants who offered easy, unrealistic answers and never addressed the alternatives, the externalities, or the unintended consequences? How many times can we who are consultants leave a mess in our wake, relying on the fact that we can find another sucker down the road who won't know about how badly we got this one wrong? What's it going to take before communities learn to call us on it? What's it going to take before we come to terms with our own lack of omniscience? When are we finally going to shift from arrogant know-it-all to what we really should be? Advisors, facilitators, listeners, resources, sources of perspective, guides, teachers. Until then, what good do we do? I try to do the right thing, but I've described before how sometimes I've been guilty of telling a community what they want to hear instead of what they need to hear. I try not to do that anymore. But it takes two to polka. You who work for and care about communities have a role to play here too. And that role is to not accept the bullshit, to not assume that a gray-haired dude in a suit automatically knows how to lead you to the promised land. And number three, to ask questions. Ask lots of questions. Ask stupid questions. Ask more questions if you don't fully understand the answer that they gave you. Under no circumstances should you accept anything that even hints at we're the experts, trust us. We should have learned by now that that dog don't hunt. If your consultant gives you a magic number out of a black box, you should chase him out of town. If your consultant makes it sound too easy, push for the details. Probe for the gray areas. And if your consultants even begin to condescend to you, fire their ass. Period. They're not doing you any good. And that's true if I show up as your consultant too. So again, that's a selection from this book. The Local Economy Revolution has arrived. What's changed and how you can help. You can get it wherever you get your books, wherever you order your books, including lulu.com, gumroad.com, bookshop.org, Amazon, you name it. And if you want to have more real talk and real conversation, I hope you'll join us tonight for Accelerate Us Salon on creating and managing and thriving in new networks for community impact. So thanks again for taking the time. I'm so glad to get to talk to you and so glad to get to share some of these fantastic opportunities. So I'll hope to see you tonight. If you do, make sure you got your favorite libation nearby for that after session happy hour. And until next time, go get them. Bye.